FIT, yeah. On the field, in the yard, in the court, we get it cracking. Loot a pound, no problem. Vic, Dardo, keep on tracking. Fit guard.
Hi, I'm Bob Merriman, co-founder of Force Impact Technologies, here today to talk to you about the FitGuard. The FitGuard is a mouth guard that measures the force of head impacts. You might be thinking, that's great, so what? Well, today we arbitrarily count how many steps we take, but not how hard and how often we get hit in the head, and that's a problem. But additionally, we know that these head impacts decrease how well athletes perform on the field. And these aren't those great big concussion-causing impacts that everyone says, well, yeah, we know that. These are the small impacts that athletes absorb every single day that don't result in any sort of injury. We now know through science that those impacts decrease an athlete's reaction time, reduce their on-field decision-making, and are very highly correlated to lower extremity soft tissue injuries. That's your knees, ankles, etc. So in other words, the more often a player gets hit in the head, the more likely they are to perform worse and to become injured in a lower body injury. But what can we do about it? And that's really the problem we set out to solve. So using our mouth guard, we capture those impacts. As you can see, my mouth guard, extremely thin, slim, small, very comfortable. All of our technology is embedded inside of there. But we also then provide athletes with the data that they need to understand what's happening with their head health, when these impacts occur, how hard are they, but more importantly, what can the athlete then do to improve their performance on the field? You might be saying, but Bob, how do we know an impact has occurred? Easy. Our mouth guard will tell you. Didn't get hit that hard? No problem. Our mouth guard tells you that too. The LED is an optional feature that doesn't have to be used, so we don't want everyone getting all nervous. You can turn the LED off. It still has all of the same features of capturing the impacts, providing data to athletes, and helping with performance. But the LED can be a great visual indicator. But instead of me just sitting here talking about it, let me show it to you. What I'm going to do now is share screen and take you right into our app. When we log into the Fit app, the first thing that we notice is that we've got some stars over on the left-hand side. And that's because we've built a platform that scales seamlessly up or down. So whether you're an individual athlete just managing your own data, or the commissioner of a youth sports league managing dozens of teams and hundreds of athletes, we can accommodate all of that through our app today. So when you click into one of those groups, you've got all of the athletes that you have in that population. So again, this could be someone, an athletic director at a school who's looking at football, boys soccer, girls soccer, etc., or a youth sports league where you've got team 1, team 2. This data is now in real time. So you can prioritize how you see it, where maybe you say, I want to key in on the athletes who have had the highest number of impacts today, this week, this season, whatever. When you hit that, it's automatically going to prioritize those. So the athletes with what you care about the most are going to be bumped up to the top of your list. When we come over to our FitGuard status tab, we've got all of the guards that are powered up and within range. So we can see the player's name, the connectivity status, whether or not the LED is on, the battery life, and whether the guard itself is on. When I click into an athlete's profile, we've got the athlete's name, the total number of impacts received, the last time that data was uploaded, so you know if what you're looking at is current, whether your guard is on and recording. You see we are recording on this guard. And then sync now as if there are any impacts currently stored on the device. So you have the option to store impacts on your guard until you're ready to download them, or have them display automatically in real time in our app. Those last 2 impacts I did where I showed you the LED going off, those impacts are sitting in our app now, just waiting to be downloaded. You'll see everything came through in real time. So looking at our actual impacts down below, you see we've got a date and time stamp, Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. Impact 1,593 occurred at 8:16 and 26 seconds AM. measured a peak linear acceleration, which is the straight line starting and stopping of 128 g, an angular velocity, or that rotational twisting component, of 57.4 radians per second. Because of our sensor placement, we know the orientation of the head in space when the impact occurs. That allows us to approximate a location for the impact. In other words, based on how your head moves after you get hit, we know where on the head you got hit. The graph that you see is a display of the duration of the impact. That's important because the science also shows it's not just how hard you get hit, but how long your brain experiences that impact for. So what I'll do now is just scroll down really quickly to show you these two impacts on the screen, 1588 and 1589. If you look at the date and time stamp of those, both occurred Monday, April 19th at 11:45 and 13 seconds. We can capture and differentiate 6 unique impact events per second, so we don't miss anything on the field. When I come back up here to the top, I can hit my sync now and download those 2 impacts. And you'll see that 2 impacts come in from Tuesday, April 20th at 6:04 and 50 seconds and 6:04 and 57 seconds. If you look in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the iPad is displaying. It is currently 6:09 p.m. on Tuesday, April 20th. So both of those impacts that I did to show you the LED happened in real time, came into our app instantly, and allow us to download those impacts. Just to prove it, I'll do another one. Bang my guard. You see instantly in the sync now, we get a blue 1. If sync now is enabled, I just hit that and my impact downloads. Or again, you can deactivate sync now and have it flow automatically. And we see impact 1596 happened Tuesday, April 20th at 6:09 p.m. But this is just the back end for the science that all goes into the FitGuard. What's really important is the user interface. So this is the data that we're providing to our users, to coaches, whoever the interested stakeholder is. So we're telling our athletes what their overall baseline is for their fit score. Now, the fit score is comprised of how often an athlete gets hit, how hard those impacts are, how long the athlete experiences those impacts for, and how closely grouped together they are. Based on that data, we create a baseline that the athlete can then compare to day over day. So in this case, our athlete Noah says his average baseline is 295, but today he was at 528. This is a red flag. What it means is that his impacts are going up and he needs to take the steps to help his head reset and recover the same way he would with any other body part that had taken a lot of strain. For instance, if an athlete came to you and said, hey, my ankle feels about 85%, you're not going to tell them it's fine, get out of here. You're going to tell them to wrap it, ice it, maybe take some ibuprofen. We take a similar approach to the head. We're going to prompt our athletes to do the things that are scientifically validated to help these athletes reset and recover so they can perform their best on the field. These are things like prompting them to drink more water because a dehydrated brain recovers more slowly. Getting additional sleep because a brain that is fatigued performs more poorly. Or maybe it's guided or meditative breathing or decreasing their screen time to help reduce the amount of strain on the brain. Whatever the case, these are all things that are scientifically shown to help the brain reset and recover, allowing athletes to perform at their best every time they take the field. Down at the bottom, we give athletes the ability to see what goes into that fit score so they can understand. In this case, Noah says, today I took 7 impacts, but normally I take 6. Why is my baseline so much higher? He could dive into those science numbers that we were just looking at to understand the magnitude of those hits. So maybe it was a severity issue, or maybe his 7 hits were very closely grouped together. Whatever the case, we allow the athlete, the parent, the coach to understand how these numbers are generated. And then matchup is an extremely cool feature where athletes have the ability to compare themselves to the relative population. Noah is a high school football player here in Arizona. He could click matchup and see how he stacks up against other 16 to 18-year-old male football players in the United States. This is an extremely powerful tool to help athletes understand how to best manage their head health, optimize their performance, and recovery. So the FitGuard is not only the best way to measure these head impacts on the field, it's also the best way to help ensure athletes are performing at their best every time they take the field. And we are convinced this is the most comfortable mouthguard on the market. As you can see, our technology is not intrusive. It doesn't cause any weird bulges. Nothing sticks out. It's a very thin, small, clean guard, but all of our technology is embedded inside. Need a tether for your face mask? Not a problem. We can add one of those as well to the same comfortable custom-made guard. At Force Impact Technologies, we are passionate about making sports safer without altering the sports themselves. And everything we do because we believe in optimizing athletes' performance and safety. Thank you.